This is Greg Quick. In previous videos, I've talked about linebackers, keys, and reads. All of us as coaches like to pontificate about the great things that we coach and the novelty of what we coach and the effectiveness of what we coach. But the reality is, it's only the film that really affirms the fact that what we teach has been learned. And today, I'd like to use stills from practice video to demonstrate or to affirm the fact that the linebackers, keys, and reads that I've discussed previously are fact and that they're effective in helping our players perceive, and then that perception leads to the proper action. In review, I teach action ball scheme. Is this fact or fiction? Again, we'll try and demonstrate or affirm today that action ball scheme is a legitimate way to train the eyes of our linebackers. For years, linebackers coaches taught triangle reads. And for a long time, I had difficulty understanding where my eyes were supposed to be or the sequence of my eyes. Therefore, I began to use the system that I have for almost 40 years of action, ball, and scheme. Let's review that system and then let's affirm the fact that it's an effective way for linebackers to make their reads and keys. First, action. Let's define action. It's the architecture of a play. It's not just limited to the direction or the angle of the tracks. It's how they work in combination or separately. The running backs, the wideouts, the quarterback. What's the architecture of the play? How it was designed. And as we know, there's as many different types of architecture today as there are types of football, right? So as linebacker coaches, we have to teach the various architectures of the play so that our linebackers understand the purpose of the play. To do that, let's simplify it for our players and break it down into 5 different forms of action. First, direct. Those plays, run or pass, that are direct. What we see is what we're going to get. Then, of course, there's misdirection, run or pass, where the play begins in one direction, it's actually going opposite. So misdirection, such as a counter or a boot. Then we have overloads, where numbers are brought into play. We see a lot today with the H-back and with the fullback creating overloads at the point of attack. The gap schemes that create overloads, the duo plays that create overloads at the point of attack. So we as defenders have to recognize these overloads and teach the proper action from that perspective. The fourth are options. These could be pre-snap or post-snap option. Option meaning the quarterback has the option of how the ball is going to be distributed by what he sees take place on the defensive side of the ball. So we have run pass options, run screen options, traditional veers, dive options, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then finally, we have disguise plays, draws that are made to look like pass, screens that are run off the pass down the field, play action, magic plays, reverses, halfback passes, and again, et cetera, et cetera. These are really the 5 types of action that we're going to see in some nature. So it's imperative that we teach our linebackers to recognize, to perceive direct, misdirect, overloads, options, and disguise plays. If they perceive it, then they'll be able to take proper action. The ball is important. I know many linebacker coaches stay away from teaching about the ball. But this is football. And from the beginning of camp ball, back in medieval times, the focus of the game has been on possession of the ball. And if we're really looking for a takeaway attitude, then it's very, very important that we understand the ball and what is the intent of the ball on that play. If so, then we're going to be able to magnify our ability for takeaways if we understand the ball's relationship to the line of scrimmage, to the formation, the personnel, because it's going to help us understand better what the offensive strategy is going to be. So there's three things that can happen with the ball. One is engagement. Is the ball engaged? Is the ball residing in close proximity to a potential ball carrier? Could it be exchanged? Is it read zone and is put into the pocket of the back? Is it a power play? So he does the ball, is it engaged or is it not? Is there anybody in close proximity, even fly sweep? Is there a player coming across the formation that's going to be in close proximity with the ball? So is there potential for engagement? Second is the exit lane of the ball. And we've taught this for years. And it used to be in a tee, that was really easy because the ball was off the line or down the line. That's changed as we've seen more and more shotgun through the years. But what is the exit lane of the ball? As that ball leaves the transfer to the center, whether it's a tee snap or a shotgun snap, what is that ball's course? That's really going to help us understand the intent of the offense. So as the quarterback gets the ball, does he come off the line? Does he move away from the other players that are in close proximity? Does he exit down the line as if a read zone play? Does he turn away for example, an RSO play? So how does the ball exit? So as we study film and we talk to our players, does the ball engage? What's the exit lane of the ball? And then finally, the launch. This is the delivery or the exchange of the ball from one player to another. It could be a pass. It could be screen. It could be a handoff. It could be a shuttle. All these things are going to help us. And what helps us is that action we talked about previously is going to help us understand the potential for engagement, for the exit lane, and for the launch of the ball. So we have action ball. Let's watch this video. And you'll see that this is Canadian football. So we have all the players motioning. A lot of things taking up place to steal your eyes. But as we see, the action is the backs both step up. There is no engagement. So when they step up, that action tells us, and it's a direct play. This is pass right now. You got a soft read out of the offensive line. You got the quarterback is off the line of scrimmage, and now he's taken the ball and he's seated it. So action ball right now tells it's pass. Okay, the scheme, the last part, action ball scheme. Scheme is the infrastructure. So if action is the architecture, then scheme is the infrastructure. And infrastructure is what supports the architecture of a building, correct? So that you have a beautiful architecture, but without the infrastructure, without the beams, without the rivets, without the nails, without the foundation, the concrete, it would fall down. The same is true in a football play. The action of the play is supported by the infrastructure, which most specifically is the blocking strategy employed by the offense. It is the blocking that supports the architecture. So you can have a hard scheme, one that attacks the line of scrimmage. We talk about a direct play, that would have a hard scheme. They're stepping at and attacks the line of scrimmage. We have soft schemes or soft reads where the line is off the line of scrimmage, or the first step is off. So we can have hard reads and we can have soft reads. So the scheme could be hard or soft. We have displaced schemes or a displaced read. Here we're moving a gap or a player. So when you pull a player or you add an H-back at the point of attack, you're just moving a gap or you're moving a player. You're creating a numbers advantage. Remember we talked about that. You're creating a numbers advantage. That could be part of the action of what's happening, right? So we've displaced. So as we see the scheme that supports the architecture of the play, was it hard? Was it soft? Was it displaced? Or is there some type of conflict? For an RPO, there's pass and there's run happening simultaneously. It puts our linebackers a lot of the time into conflict. And it's our job as coaches to help eliminate or lessen the conflict in a play. So we can see it as a hard read, a soft read, displacement, or a conflict. Obviously, hard or soft allows us to take quick action. Displaced or conflict reads sometimes cause us to pause and then confirm what we're seeing with action and ball. So let's look at scheme here. Here's a play. It's engaged, correct? Action is, we've got chance for engagement. The ball exit lane is to the back, so there's engagement. Now the scheme is we have a pull play. We've got two pullers. So if I put this full flow together with full flow by the back, engagement by the quarterback, and a pull in that direction, it gives me pretty, I can confirm the action ball with scheme here. Action and ball tells us run, and then with the pull, that's going to confirm it even stronger for us. So by putting the three together, action, ball, scheme, I should be able to react quickly, effectively, so that the perception I have is going to allow me to take the proper action. Here's the why. We always need to know the why. Where the eyes go, the body follows. We talk about so often hands, feet, and eyes. And we spend a lot of time training the feet and the hands. I don't believe we spend enough time training the eyes. And that's why I've done these videos on the reads and on the keys, and now affirming the fact that the eyes are so important. Okay, as I've talked previously on this video and in other videos, perception precedes action. I can't take action, proper action, unless I have proper perception. So that's, again, our job as coaches, is to teach our players how to perceive what the offense attack is so that we can take the proper action. If they have proper perception of what the offense is doing through action, ball, and scheme, architecture of the play, the deployment of the ball, and then the infrastructure of the scheme. Those all three support what our eyes are seeing, and we'll be able to take proper action. Right action follows the right perspective. I've used this analogy before. This is one of the strong coaching points supported by action, ball, scheme. We're on the golf course here, and you can see that Mickelson and Wilson are on. I want you to look, because they're about ready to putt out here, and I want you to look at the green. And as you're looking at the green and watching television on this day, suddenly on the bottom there, something came up. What was that on the bottom of the screen? What did you see? So really you were looking at the action in the ball, right? The action of the putters. The ball wasn't going to go in. So just in a football play, your eyes were on action and back. Then suddenly at the bottom of the screen, there it is, a weather report. And it left very quickly. So the action ball was what was happening on the green. The scheme of the play was a weather report. And that's exactly what I teach my linebackers, is to perceive the weather. So as I'm seeing action and ball, if there's a weather report, I have to use some of that visual resources I have. And because of the distance, I'm going to be able to see both. I'm going to be able to see action and ball. But I'm also going to be able to note whether that weather report means anything. Is there a storm in my neighborhood and I have to move and take action? Or is that storm far away and it doesn't mean anything to me right now? Same thing in a football play. Action and ball, the architecture of the play, the deployment of the ball. But now what's the infrastructure? And that's the weather report. What's the weather report telling me? Because it's going to confirm what action I need to take. It's really the infrastructure of the play, right, is the scheme. So eye discipline is really important. And again, I can't reiterate it enough. Right action follows a right perspective. So eye discipline. So here is, just as I said, a slide right from practice video. So you can see right there, period 3, play 3, right? So we're going to look right here, and You can see the inside linebacker that I've got the circle to the left on. He's turned. We're playing a cover one, and he's got a steal technique or a steal responsibility. If we get an under right now, immediate under, radical under, if you will, that linebacker is going to take that under, which is going to free the defensive back to play on top. So basically, we're trying to gain a numbers advantage. And you can see his eyes are intent. Very good eyes by number 24 there. Good stance. You know, talking about stance, knees are inside the ankle. He can step in either direction. Hands are relaxed. Good bend, symmetrical bend between his hips and knees. Good position. Now let's look at the linebacker where the arrow originates from. And I have the back circled down at the bottom right of the slide. Normally, I would say this was very bad. This was eye impurity, as I like to say. I want the guys to have pure eyes. So the linebacker to the left has pure eyes. He's got a steal technique. He's found the linebacker or found the under route, and he's stealing that route. Now the other linebacker is looking at the quarterback. You might say he doesn't have, his eye impurity is concerning. But let's look at the quarterback. The quarterback, the ball has told us he's turned and rotated. He cannot throw without rotating it back. So that lets the linebacker know that he can drop or play through that inside route. You can see the receiver's already breaking his hips to sit there. But the linebacker is under that route, and he can play through him to the running back. So does he have eye impurity? No. His eyes are well disciplined. The quarterback is away. So now really the back is not a threat. So now I can play the steal player, my linebacker underneath the route that's breaking down, and then I have a corner on top. So we have 3-on-2 because by the play of the quarterback or the intent of the quarterback tells us what's going to take place. So action, ball, and scheme. Right now, the back left, the quarterback seated the ball. He turned away. That told us everything we needed to know. I can sit under this route. I'll play through that route to the back. And I got a great steal by the other linebacker. So good eye discipline. So this is what we're talking about when we're talking about action, ball, scheme, and affirming the fact that the players actually see it. Remember the weather report. Do they see action and ball? Do they see what's happening? So this is in the first few steps of a play. And if you look closely to the bottom right, the ball was dropped. And you can see the quarterback and running back looking at it. So I include that in there to show you how quickly the ball is actually still floating in the air. So this is very soon in the play. Moments into the play. Probably 0.7 into the play. But the action of the play is direct, correct? We got a running back. He's in position for engagement. Okay? So what we're seeing is run action. We're seeing engagement of the ball. We're seeing the running back. Now, what's the weather report? We're getting a hard read. You can see we got a double team out of 66 and 65. Doubles, tandems on the backside, 3-on-2 on the backside, and we got a pull. Do the linebackers see it? Sure they do. Look at 12 and 45. Both of them have their right arm out, showing where the pull. And that happened at the same time as the pull took place. So you can see their eyes are high, and they can see the action in ball. At the same time, they saw the puller. How do I know that? The affirmation of the point. I ask in practice that my linebackers always recognize, they affirm the puller, because I don't know if they saw him or not unless I have some affirmation. So I teach my linebackers when they get a pull, they point. That way I can affirm, their teammates can affirm. Pull, 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 pull with a point. I can't hear it, but I sure can affirm the fact that my players saw the pull. So here's the next play. This is another great example. This is even better. You can see how soon. So the back took his lead step, and now he's going to cross over. So within the first step of the play, the linebacker, if you look in the left side, the linebacker is pointing with his left hand, and he's beginning to shuffle. So that's number 6. He affirms the fact of the pull with the point, and now he's going to leverage the running back. So he's going to play that backside hip, and he's going to be able to scrape downhill. He knows he's going to probably get ear-rolled by somebody coming off the tandem, but he sees the pull. You can see that. How do I know that? He affirmed it with the point. The first 2, those were backup players. This is a starter. This is an all-league player. Now the linebacker to our right, or the left linebacker, he sees the action, but he saw the pull. So now he's going to fill tight downhill scrape. You see the end closing. So however that ball bounces, if he got the kick out, he'd be able to fill inside. If he gets the wrap, he'll be able to stack and take it outside. So we've got great eyes by 24. He's downhill, scraping tight. And number 6 affirms the pull. Within the first 2 steps of the play, everything's already moving. And I can affirm the fact that action, ball, scheme have been properly perceived, and now we'll get the proper action. Okay, let's look at this here. Again, these are 2 backup players, and I've shown these guys because it's easy to show the starters. These guys get limited reps, and how do I know what they're seeing? Again, as you can see, this is out of a pistol look now rather than on the offset back. So is there a chance? Action. Okay, it's run, it's downhill, it's hard. We've got guys attacking a line of scrimmage. The ball hasn't been seated. It's going to be extended. So either I'm going to be putting a conflict of an RPO, or we've got a run here. Now, how do I know if they saw the pull? We see the puller down at the bottom, so we're most likely getting counter action. And if it's not counter, it's going to be some type of a boot. So this is a 3 linebacker defense here. And you can see the linebacker to the left is 99. He sees it. He's going to scrape downhill, nice and tight. And then you can see the other 2 linebackers. Again, this is the first 2 steps, and both seen that there's going to be a run. There's a pull. So even the linebacker to our right, the left linebacker, saw the pull. Even if he is the backside linebacker, he affirmed it. He saw it. And in this defense, he's going to hold on the backside to help us with the RPO. And it's the inside linebacker that's in the middle there. You can see there is actually a gap right there. He has to fit, so he has to hold and play inside out on that back. Then he's going to scrape over the top. So he gives us, they're trying to gain a numbers advantage, and we're not going to allow that to happen. For that to happen, we know there are 3 players on the 3 at 68, 66, 62 or 3 there. The linebacker will come down. We're 3 on 3. With the pull, I've got to get somebody. They've displaced that gap. Remember that? In the infrastructure of the scheme of the play. So I need to get that linebacker over the top. So he's going, and then now I've got 3 on 2 on the backside. So we're going to be able, in this look, to get a numbers advantage at the point of attack. Good affirmation there by the players. Okay, now, another way to see if they truly see it, this is over 8. Very easy. It's a 6-man AB gap blitz. Number 6 and number 24 were to be blitzing the A and the B gap. So in an overlook, the front side, the Mike linebacker would have the A, and the Will linebacker would have the B. The Will is to our right here, the other's to the left. But what happened is we get a gap scheme, a down block. We get a pull out in front. You can see number 61 in front. So this is actually a readout by these 2 linebackers. If the down block is successful, you can see the offensive lineman to the left of the circle chasing the 2 linebackers. So as they were blitzing, they saw the pull, they saw action, ball, scheme, and were able to read out. So now what you see out here at the point of attack is 61 is blocking our defensive end. If we would have got sealed inside and completed that AB blitz, that running back 32 would be out free. But in reality, he's now going to face a numbers disadvantage. He's got 2 unblocked linebackers coming to the point of attack. So the perception of those linebackers allowed them to take proper action. Everybody wants to talk fits. So let's talk fits real quickly here, utilizing action ball scheme. To the left, that's number 45. You see an excellent shuffle fit. You can see his knees are inside his ankles. He's got a symmetrical bend between his hips and his knees. And look at his eyes, how intent his eyes are there. Over in the B gap, I got the linebacker stepped up. He's in a firm fit. He's in a power hang position. That inside hand, he's got it stressed and it's holding it. And then he's snapped weight inside. You can see him leaning back against the weight of that offensive lineman, and he's pounding that inside foot so that there's no drift. He doesn't drift to the outside, creating a larger A gap that's harder for that D lineman to fill. So you can see right here that the A, B, C are taken care of on this play by great fits by the linebacker. So he shuffle fit the A gap. We had a great firm fit out on the front side. There was no pull, so they were able to see direct action. They were able to see a hard read, and that perception allowed them to take proper action. That good shuffle fit, the great fit with firm action, snapping weight against the offensive lineman to deny the drift, pounding the inside foot. Great example of action ball scheme, taking them that right perception, giving them the right action. Now, the last part of this is the ability to, when you're getting conflict, misdirection, play action. We saw that they read out and were able to adjust. So when the run and the blitz are able to read out, they've seen the right action versus both pull plays and hard dive plays. What about play action? Right here is a great example of excellent play action recovery. So we had a strong read, and here's our will linebacker. So he was taught once he's stuck, and he sees pass now off of the play action. He is to get with and get under the inside route. Look at his inside relationship. Look at the bend. Look at relaxed arms. Look at those eyes where they're at. He's in proper position right there. What a great recovery off of play action, finding the inside. Now, my Mike linebacker is responsible. There's always going to be an over route, right? Play action. You're going to get that drag, the over route, the dig. It's Mike's responsibility to find it. So once he recognizes the fact that he's got conflict, the play action's taken place, he's going to, let me get back to it, he's literally going to run to the inside of that, and there it is, right there. There's the over route happening, and the Mike linebacker is going right to it. The will linebacker is dropped underneath the inside route. You can see the safety has taken the dig. You can see they passed the safety. There's another safety right behind the goalpost that's now playing the deeper route. So we've taken away the play action with those 4. Again, I've got numbers advantage. I've got 4. I've created a box that the triangle, that pass concept is going to take place in. So it gives me a numbers advantage. So I'm over the top of all the route progression, and I'm able to match up underneath. And what's happened here is the quarterback actually is going to scramble. This is a coverage sack off of play action. Excellent job by these players. Great perception with great action afterwards. The end. I'm glad you were able to join us today to really affirm the fact that action ball scheme is a legitimate way to teach reads and keys. If we can ever help you, reach out to us here at